Greetings. Welcome to the Interview Skills in the Digital Age video. My name is Lisa Lee and I am the Program Coordinator at the WorkSource office on the South Seattle College main campus. This video is brought to you in partnership with the Seattle Public Library. You can find other job search videos and resources on the Seattle Public Library and WorkSource Washington websites. What we will cover today. The first topic will be preparation before the interview. We will talk about the company research, digital footprints, and different digital platforms. Second, we will cover the interview and talk about the different types of interviews and common and behavioral interview questions. Third, we'll talk about after the interview, the follow-up and reflection. Okay, let's get started. Preparation before the interview. You probably did some research on the company before you even applied for the job. In preparing for the interview, you want to take that a step further. Before you go on the interview, find out as much as you can about the company. It will help you prepare to both answer interview questions and ask the interviewer questions. You will also be able to make sure that the company and the company culture are a fit for you. Some things to research. What does the company do and why? Has the company been in the news lately or launched a new product? Search the web, Google them, go to the company's website. Most companies have an About Us page, which will have their mission statement, company values, and things like that. Also, tap into your network. Talk with your friends and neighbors that might work for the company and might help you gain a little more insight. You can also use LinkedIn and Glassdoor and other job search engines to research the company. You also want to think about what skills and experiences do you bring to the company? How will you add value to the company? This will be helpful in answering the interview question, why should I hire you, and what motivates you? Digital footprint. So what is your digital footprint? If you Googled yourself, what would you find? Now more than ever, before employers offer an interview, they conduct a search for the candidate on major social platforms. They want to get an idea of whether an individual's personality is likely to fit in with a team. They may go beyond LinkedIn, where candidates are highly motivated to present themselves professionally. They may take a look at Facebook profiles, Instagram accounts, and other sites where people may have an online presence. They are searching to find out whether or not the candidate has openly trashed their former employer, or discuss company-related information that is appropriate to reveal or consider confidential. An employer also wants to know if the candidate has mentioned their company in a negative way. An employer will see how the candidate represents themselves publicly. They see if the candidate has posted any inappropriate photographs or made any inappropriate remarks online. With this information, the employer will determine if you demonstrate the personality and judgment necessary to function well in their organization. So be very careful what you're posting online. Go Google yourself, update all your social media pages with professional information. Maybe create a separate professional account and make it so that it's found first when people search your name online. You can do that by creating your own URL in LinkedIn. If you have a popular name, you can use numbers after your name to put you above others. An example would be like the name is Michael Jackson. So you would use Michael Jackson A or Michael Jackson 1. Digital platforms. Through apps like Skype, FaceTime, GoMeeting, Zoom, and many others, sitting in the same room with an interviewee in many cases just isn't necessary anymore. You can net the same information about nonverbals and get a similar feel to how the candidate reacts in real time without anyone ever having to travel. No matter which platform you use, you want to make sure that your computer is compatible with the platform that your interviewer is using. Some platforms do offer web access for systems that are incompatible. So prepare for your remote interview. Download the software and create a professional username at least a few days in advance of the interview. Make sure you test your interview connection and software. If it is a phone interview, make sure you have cell service. Have a quiet space to conduct your interview and be mindful of what is behind you. You can use one of the provided backgrounds that come with the platform you're using. If it doesn't come with one or you're not sure how to work it, just go get in front of a blank wall. Maybe put a sheet on the wall to cover up anything. Just be mindful of what's behind you. Next, do a test call or two with your friends or family. Check the background and sound, make sure the camera and angle and lighting are good, and use headphones to prevent audio issues. Test everything again an hour or two before the interview. And make sure you're fully dressed. Please wear pants and be sure that the call is ended. So employers can get valuable information about a candidate based on the setting that the candidate chooses when interviewing. For example, they think about, did the candidate have enough foresight to render the setting as distraction-free as possible? Meaning, are there phones ringing in the background or people chatting in the background? Does the candidate have in their view any books or materials that let the interviewer know that they're deeply engaged in keeping up to date on their field of business, like professional journals or certificates on the wall? If there's a problem with technology, does the candidate appear at ease when dealing with it? For example, if the laptop or computer crashes, does the candidate know to get on the cell phone to complete the call? The interview. Different types of interviews. There are many types of interview platforms, and they can be done in person as well as remotely. The task is to prepare yourself for the environment you will have your interview in. Some types of interviews are the group interview. You might find group interviews in which the company is hiring multiple people for the same job. Your task here is to find out how to catch the hiring manager's attention. How can you stand out? The panel interview. If you'll be reporting to several people or working with a team, you'll meet with multiple interviewers, all at the same time. The good part is you only have to answer those tough questions once. The task here is to make a strong connection with each decision maker. The virtual or pre-recorded interview. Pre-recorded video and virtual interviews take the phone screen interview to the next level. Interviewing candidates remotely can permit access to candidates that may be overlooked. Like if a candidate who looks great on paper resides on the opposite coast, but are willing to relocate, you can interview them without anybody investing the dime in travel expenses. The pre-recorded video. Pre-recorded video is where each candidate will be given the same set of questions with the same amount of time to respond. The candidate's answers are recorded and watched later. Some companies ask you to record a video of the interview questions and send it by email in. Virtual interview. This is where the hiring manager and the candidate will connect with each other online using video software. The tools required for this kind of meeting typically include a computer with a built-in or external video camera and microphone, a reliable internet, and headphones if desired. Cell phones can also be used. A phone interview. Ask for a phone interview. A call is typically a first-round screening to see if you're a fit to come in for a full interview. Have your resume at hand and any notes you have on the company. One of the advantages of remote interviewing is that you can have your notes in front of you for quick references. And last, the traditional interview, in person. This is a scenario that we've all probably done, meeting face-to-face with a solo interviewer or a group interview and answer a series of questions designed to help determine if you're a good candidate for the job. There's one more interview I'd like to add, and that's the career fair interview. You attend a career fair as part of your job hunt, and you could possibly have impromptu interviews. You'll have an opportunity to sell yourself to the recruiter and maybe create an opportunity for a full interview. So practice and prepare. Have an elevator pitch ready, Promote and demonstrate your knowledge of the companies that are in attendance. The employer's perspective. If your resume is the spec sheet, then the interview is the test drive. Employers are under pressure to make a flawless hiring decision. Selecting the wrong candidate can cost the company time, money, or possibly legal issues. Questions asked during the interview are geared to discovering if you have the characteristics that are highly regarded by employers. These include your capabilities, your expertise and knowledge to be successful on the job from day one, your professionalism and level of responsibility. They want to know if you require supervision or if you can work independently. Also, they want to know if you're going to be compatible with those that are already working for the department, already working for the company. They want to see if you have teamwork, what's your personality, do you have ethics, are you passionate about your work, etc. Interviewing stages and types. Interviews have a natural order or flow. Understanding this can help you keep track of where you are in the discussion process so you'll be prepared for what comes up next. The opening. The interviewer takes the lead. He'll do small talk, first impressions, talk about the position and the company, give you an overview. Next, it could be testing. A lot of jobs require testing of hard skills and soft skills. They want to give you math tests, maybe spelling tests, depending on what the job is. Sometimes these testing are done before the interview, and sometimes after, so it just depends. We also have the information exchange. Here they'll determine your ethics and if you're a good cultural fit. They'll use situational and behavioral questions. This will be the bulk of the interview. Right now they're assessing your skills. Conclusion. This is your chance to ask questions and demonstrate your interest. You want to take this time also to thank them for their time. So let's move on to some practice interviewing. What is the employer looking for based on the job description? What knowledge, skills, and abilities do you have to fit these requirements? So here we're going to compare the employer's job posting with your history. Comparing the employer's job posting with your history. Many of the questions that the employer will ask during the interview will be based upon specific pre-selected skills. By assessing your qualities that match the position's requirements, you can identify instances in your career where you applied those specific skill sets in a work environment. Identify the top 3 qualifications that the employer has listed on the job description. Then match those requirements with your knowledge, skills, and abilities. Review your list and the job requirements prior to the interview so you're ready to share them. By doing this, you'll be ready to answer interview questions designed to determine if you have the knowledge and the skills to perform the job. The STAR method is a way of answering resume-based interview questions that provides the interviewers with clear, concrete, and concise answers. Interview questions that are answered in the STAR method format get to the heart of what the candidate actually did in a previous work experience. With the STAR method, you will provide the situation. You'll detail the background, provide a context, where, when. Next, the task. You'll describe the challenge and expectations. What needed to be done and why. Third, action. Here you'll elaborate on specific action. What did you do? What tools did you use? And then results. Explain the results, the accomplishments, the recognition, savings, etc. If possible, try to quantify what you've done. Here's an example using the STAR method with the question, tell us about a time when someone in your work group wasn't pulling their weight. In the situation, you want to give an example of a situation that you were in that resulted in a positive outcome. At my last position with ABC Company, I was part of a team assigned to redesign the layout of the waiting room and reception desk to improve the service and efficiency. One of our team members wasn't showing up for our work sessions, so I met with them in private to discuss my concerns. Task. Describe the task involved in that situation. What approach did you use? I explained the team's frustration concerning their absence in a respectful manner. I then asked if there was anything the team could do to help them become more involved with the assignment. They explained that they were trying to finish up year-end reports, but was having trouble gathering data. Action. Here, talk about the various actions involved in the situation's task. I went back to the group and explained the situation. We decided to spend the afternoon helping our teammates so their year-end reports could be submitted in a timely manner. The results. What results directly followed because of your actions? From that moment on, he was at every meeting and dedicated himself to giving back to those that helped him. My employer was happy because our project came in ahead of schedule, improved our customer satisfaction rating by 24%, and cut wait times by 38%. This example hit all four responses. Gave an example, described the task, discussed the action take to resolve the task, and then showed the results that followed. This is what you want to do when you're asked those difficult questions like, what's your greatest weakness? So you can never really prepare for all the questions that you may encounter in an interview, but the key is to knowing how to answer them. Prepare yourself for the most common questions. Establish your own STAR answers for behavioral questions. These questions with yourself, a friend, or attend a mock interview. Use bullet points to answer questions. It is easier to connect points and will sound more natural. Here are a few examples of common interview questions. Tell me about yourself. Why did you leave your last position? What are your short-term and long-term goals? What has been your most significant career accomplishment? Why do you want this job? What is your greatest strength? What is your greatest weakness? How do you handle stress and pressure? Describe a difficult work situation or project and how you overcame it. So let's look a little closer at a couple of these questions. Tell me about yourself. Instead of giving a chronological work history, focus on your strengths and how they pertain to the role. If possible, illustrate with examples. Here's a good answer. I'm really energetic and a great communicator. Working in sales for 2 years helped me build confidence and taught me the importance of customer loyalty. I've also got a track record of success. In my last role, I launched a company newsletter, which helped us build on our existing relationships and created new ones. Because of this, we ended up seeing a revenue increase over 10% over 2 years. I am also really interested in how companies can use web tools to better market themselves and will be committed to building on your existing platform. That was a great answer because it let the employer know what they were interested in, a little bit about themselves, what they've done in their last role, and what they're excited to do if they were hired in this position. Another question we'll go over is, what is your greatest weakness? I always tense up or freeze up when I get this question, but I'm going to share with you a good answer. So have an answer for this ready. It should be spoken about in the past. Speak to how you have addressed the weakness, because we all have weaknesses, it's how we address them that matters. And be authentic. Yes, it is a challenge to me, but this is how I've worked to overcome it. Here's a good answer. I've never been very comfortable with public speaking, which, as you know, can be a hindrance in the workplace. Realizing this was a problem, I asked my previous employer if I could enroll in a speech workshop. He said yes. I took the class and was able to overcome my lifelong fear. Since then, I've given lots of presentations to audiences well over 100. I still don't love it, but no one else can tell. Now, I like that question because it shows how you overcame your weakness and how you asked your employer to help. A lot of times employers have classes and things that they'll help pay for, trainings for professional development that they will be more than happy to pay for and have you attend. Just ask. So right now we're going to pause for a moment to reflect. Think about the interview questions that you have difficulty answering and use the STAR method to answer some of them. The interview. First impressions. So now that you have all your information gathered, it's time to look at how you will present yourself in an interview. Formally introduce yourself. They haven't met you before, so state your name and how you would like to be addressed. Be friendly and positive. Smile and be polite, and recognize the formality of the situation. Remember to maintain eye contact with everyone. Remember names and positions. It's okay to write them down. I would write them down and attach them to what they're wearing so I'll remember who's who, like blue shirt or white shirt, something like that. Don't be afraid to ask them to repeat the question. You want to make sure that you're giving the correct answer to the specific question. And it's okay to take a pause for a moment to think. Take a drink of water or, just pause and think. I think that the interviewers will appreciate you taking your time to make sure that you answer the question in a thoughtful manner. Have your resume and references available in a PDF format or in the format requested so it can be shared easily in the chat function of your digital platform or emailed easily. Now, you have prepared and practiced. Just breathe and be yourself. Verbal and nonverbal communication in an interview. To present yourself in the best light to the employer, consider your verbal and nonverbal communication techniques. Practice speaking with someone who will give you a fair critique, even yourself in front of a mirror, so you can ensure that the following techniques are professional and genuine. Your eye contact, your voice, facial expressions, your posture, mannerisms, and attitude. What to wear. So you want to put together an outfit and try it on days prior, even if it's remote. You want to make sure that you're comfortable. And I can't emphasize enough to wear pants. Well put together and proper fitted attire will make you feel more professional and confident. Dressed appropriate for the industry that you're interviewing for. Business casual is appropriate in most situations. Dress in solid colors and neutral tones. The focus should be on you, not your outfit. Make sure your clothes are clean, free of stains, wrinkles, and any damage. Your appearance matters, so take the time to prepare. You want to go easy on jewelry and accessories and scents if you are interviewing in person. Here are some things the interviewer will notice. What you say about your previous employers. Are you bad-mouthing them? Are you saying good things about them? They're going to notice if your responses are honest and consistent. Listen carefully and consider the question before answering. Do not interrupt the speaker. They'll also notice your level of commitment to your profession and your continued development to be a performer and the confidence that you'll succeed in the position. They'll look at your level of interest in working for the company and the probability that you'll stay with the organization for long term. Here are some end of interview questions to ask. You want to ask questions about the company culture. You want to ask them what they love about the company, why they work for the company. It'll leave them with a positive notion of you. Craft the question so that they see you did your research and are interested in working there. In closing, thank them for their time and ask them if there's any other information that you can share that would help them with their decision to hire you. What do you think are the most important qualities for someone to excel in this role? This question can often lead to valuable information that's not in the job description. It can help you learn about the company culture and expectations. Describe the culture of the company. Are you a good fit for this particular organization? Make sure you're comfortable with the culture and the dynamic of the company. Another good question is, where do you think the company is headed in the next 5 years? If you plan to be in this role for several years, make sure the company is growing so that you can grow with the company. And another question we'll go over is, what do you like best about working for this company? Ask about your interviewer's personal experience for additional insights to the company culture. And then finally, what are the next steps in the interview process? This question shows that you are eager to move forward in the process. It would also help you gain important information about the timeline for hiring so that you can follow up appropriately. After the interview, follow up and reflection. Now what? Breathe a sigh of relief. Before you leave or sign off, make sure you have the interviewer's contact information, email information, or a business card. And then reflect. It's important to review every detail of the interview. Ask yourself, what did I say well, and how did the interviewer react? Was there something I didn't provide a strong answer for that I should clarify? Really ask yourself, is this company a good fit for me? Can I see myself growing here? Will I mesh well with the company culture? Write all of your thoughts down, especially if you didn't take notes in the interview. It's good to have this information to go back to and review as you continue with your job search. The thank you note. Some things to write in your thank you note include recapping some of the things you feel are your strengths for the job at hand. Also, take the time to address any awkward moments that you may have had during the interview or questions you couldn't fully answer at the time. Send a separate personalized email to each person you met with. They may forward them to each other, so it's important that no two emails are the same. Here I have an example of a basic thank you note. You have the greeting, and in the body of the note, you want to thank the employer for taking the time to meet with you and for giving you an opportunity to learn more about the business and the position. You also want to convey how excited you are to join the company to provide customer service, bring in new clients, whatever the position requires. In closing, you want to let them know that you're interested in the position by asking what the next steps are and that you would like them to contact you if they need any additional information to help with their decision of hiring you. I'll read the example. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. It was such a pleasure to learn more about the team and position, and I'm very excited about the opportunity to join ABC Company and help bring in new clients with your team. I look forward to hearing from you about the next steps in the hiring process, and please do not hesitate to contact me if I can provide additional information. You want to make sure that your email and phone number, all your contact information is current and up to date. Okay, a second follow-up. Follow up in the time frame you were given. If the employer didn't provide you with that information, the rule of thumb is to follow up 1 week after you send your thank you note. If it's okay to follow up with the hiring manager directly, follow up once every 2 weeks. Remember, there's a fine line between being enthusiastic and annoying, so proceed with caution. Q&A. How do I answer tough interview questions like, why are you leaving your current role? So for this answer, you want to focus on the positive. You want to stay away from saying anything negative about your previous job or employer. How do you explain your gap in employment? Employment gaps are always tough to explain. Find a way to make your extended unemployment gap work to your benefit. Did you gain skills during this time? Focus on how those skills are transferable. What did you least like about your last job? The goal is to take a small detail and transform the scenario into a lesson learned. Try to stay away from anything that draws on the politics, culture, or financial health of your previous employer. No matter how true it might be, comments like these will be taken as negative. You always want to give the best positive scenario for your last employer because the current employer might think that you'll talk about them the same way. So keep that in mind. Well, we have come to the end of the interview skills in the digital age video. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please check out more videos, workshops, and other job readiness resources at the Seattle Public Library and WorkSource Washington websites. Again, thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.